Quick little update, and it is that of the 25th day of June 2018. Like always, everything is within your own risk, own reward. And taking a look first at the Bitcoin. Well, I'm only going to take a look at Bitcoin. No, I got a plan to look at another one. So we'll get to that one in a bit. But Bitcoin on the daily time frame, doing its same old thing, correcting within the 18 in a downtrend. So this would be correction number 5 since the decline. Number 1 here. Number 2. This one was a lengthy one. Didn't go up too much, but it had several periods making the average go sideways. So that was number 3. Correction number 4, and now we're in correction number 5. How many of these we get? Well, I don't know the answer to that, but if I see momentum heading back lower, then it's going to look to me as if we're going to have a not so fun test of support, because I don't like the chances of a retest. As we can see every time, there really wasn't support, at least not much here. There definitely wasn't support here. There was not support here. And there was not support here as well. So if I see it coming down here, why am I going to think there's going to be the greatest chances of support coming? Thus, if it breaks through, you're expecting a leg lower, and expecting a leg lower at this price pivot point of barely below 6,000 can be quote-unquote deadly, but that's all short-term analysis stuff. For me, on a psychological level, one of the ways I look at it is back in the day, when things were going great, things were wonderful, glorious, amazing, just spectacular, your portfolio was saying such. And I think away a lot of the natural psychology of human emotions is the trend is always going to stay as you feel of it as it right now, or at that moment in time. So you're like, oh, I knew I was right with the whole cryptos. I'm winning, and all that type of stuff. And you almost feel as if it's not going to stop. It's just going to keep going higher. Although when you think about it, it can go up for quite some time, but at some point it has to have its down move, which of course it's been having. And then you think on the down moves that things are just going to keep getting worse. And oh my goodness, it's just not going to stop going down. And when you go through this long enough, you go through bipolar. I don't know what we used to word bi meaning back and forth. Polar, definitely. Polar back and forth is the word why I'm using that term. Where you have emotions where you're like excited, happy, then sad, and oh my goodness, it's good, it's bad. Well, what are your emotions going to be like on a random day, say like June 17th, 2021, or November 5th, 2019? I mean, things are going to change a lot. Obviously, there's going to be several more up and down swings along the way. So that's, to me, one way that I like to think about it. But when it comes down to it, if you ask me how my trading's going, how the cryptos are doing, I think the best answer that I can give, as long as it's truthful, and right now it is, everything's in order. Literally. And let's move on to GNT. I had a sell order in at 5,350 Satoshi on GNT. It executed. What did I do after that? I adjusted future sell orders and I added a buy order. And I tended to such. I inserted a buy order at 46.11 back to where it came from. And I have a sell order somewhere up around here at around 61. I do not need to do anything now as a trader until it reaches its next point. And when it does, everything won't be in functional order at that time until, of course, I adjust the orders of the game. And this is what I like about this trading strategy. on just waiting for the price action to come to your points and then execute. And having buy and sell orders in, of course, makes it very easy so that you can sleep, you can go out, do things, and spend very little time trading on the portfolio. Because if a price goes up, you don't need to tend to be there to act upon it. I look at it as, say you're at a pawn shop, a flea market, or anything like this, and there's somebody that will sell you an item for you. So you have, say, a hockey card, you have a gold collector's coin, or whatever it may be. And I'm like, okay, I want to sell it for 550 units. I'll sell up to 200 of these. Please sell them for me. And then, of course, the person will do such a thing and then take a very small commission. And that's, of course, the reference to the rake of like anywhere from like 0.005% to 0.05% to 0.25% as the lowest and highest rakes I've seen on the larger trading sites anyway. So that's how I'm looking at the game. And you can even go further. Yeah, if someone brings in this particular coin, I'll buy it at a particular level and I'll buy so many of them and again pay them an insane low commission to do so. Of course, when we look back at this, this is how wild this can be. And this isn't the first time that GNT has done this. In fact, I can show you. Not on this one, because this is on Bittrex. Over 1 year ago, this did this before. I'm going to show you a quick screenshot now of the orders that I placed for GNT. I'll place 4. 1 buy order, 3 sell orders. It took me 46 seconds to place the 4 sell orders with the order date shown on the left. So I first put a buy order in 4611. As I get a transaction, I'll pretty much remove all the orders and then re-put new ones in. 6189 is an immediate sale. But if this thing goes hog wild, then I got a little bit more. So the gain here, if I'm selling 5350, and I'm looking next to sell at 6189, that means I'm happy with a gain of about 800 basis points. That's about 15% for just the next level. And I am, of course, because that's what I placed. But if it gets really wild, I don't want to do 8% again. In fact, this one is close to 50%. So I have this one, and just in case, just put an insane number. Now, 37,000 would not hit in an example like before. As it's high, it gets to 24,000. But if we look back at the situation, looking where it was, having the same sort of idea in. Let's just assume you got a sale order at, say, 5,700. Okay, then I'm going to put a new one in for 6,300. Then maybe one for 12,000 and then for 80,000. Well, the 12,000 in this spot, you would have got the first sale. But when you get a spot where you can sell up here and it does this and it comes back again, that's immediate. That's like an immediate win, because if I'm selling, say, for every 100 units I'm selling here and it comes back to here, then I can get close to double back for the exact same price I sold it for in this example, going from 12,000 to like 6,200 as an example. Or I could even do something like, okay, I'm going to buy 150 of them back. Thus, I will have 50 more of these than I had before. And I'll have more Bitcoin than I did before, because the cost of the sale of 100 is lower than the purchase of that of 150 after the fact. And if you get the insane number that comes through, those are just magnificent situations. And then just going back into this point, when we look at it from this example, the strategy of that I talk about. Just putting orders in and let the market do what it's got to do. Nothing but buying in here, a little bit of selling. And this is, of course, if you're playing for just decent gains. This is 51.40. Up here is 73. So there's definitely opportunities to be buying down here and selling up here. You sell here, you can buy back here. You can sell here, you can buy back here. You sell up here, you're going to buy it here. You're going to have some selling in here. And this is practically nothing but buying. Maybe you get this hit. That one's going to be tough. But if you buy at like 61.60 and you sell at like 65, that's why it's tough. You got to hit the bottom and you got to be selling for low percentage points. Same thing on this one here. Nothing but buying. So this is your first opportunity to get the sale in. But I was able to sell at 53.50. I'm going to check my last buy on here, or what the lowest number I got during this decline. And it wasn't a good price. It was 48. But you know what though? 48 buy, 53.5 sell, worked out to about a little over 10%. Still, that is a profit. And I know that, as I talked about in the intro, there's going to be periods of time where things are going to look bad and markets go down. And then you know there's going to be periods of time when they go back up again. And what I like about this strategy is you don't need to always know when the markets are going to go up or down. In fact, you don't care. It just attend to the situation if it goes up or if it goes down to place. It's also one that doesn't acquire too much attention. And in fact, oftentimes if you try to give it a lot of attention, there'll be nothing to do, because if you ask how you're doing and everything's in order, literally, then there's nothing to do. And that to me is a good thing. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.